yeah, man, just really just continue to explore, learn, and grow, man. That's like kind of the biggest things for me. Besides is like this business and like work and stuff like that, professional stuff, man. Making sure I stay connected and grounded to people like you. Just building, man, and just stay grounded. That's what I got going on, man. And just enjoy life, man. Trying to really enjoy the journey. I'm pretty sure you get this feeling like when you.
Welcome to Vulnerability Muscle, the empowering podcast challenging norms and guiding you to find strength and power through vulnerability. I'm your host, Reggie D. Ford. In a world that often portrays vulnerability as a sign of weakness, I believe it is a source of tremendous strength and authenticity. Through insightful conversations and thought provoking interviews, Vulnerability Muscle aims to redefine vulnerability and help listeners develop a new perspective on their own lives. Each episode of Vulnerability Muscle delves into a variety of topics such as mental health, social issues, and mindset shifts. We explore the power of vulnerability in healing, building resilience, and promoting personal growth, as well as fostering meaningful connections. This podcast provides practical tools and strategies to navigate life's challenges, overcome adversity, and create more inclusive and just environments for all people. In this episode, we have Jerome Moore. Jerome is a Nashville native, a talented creator and host of the thought provoking podcast show Deep Dish Conversations, exploring critical social, cultural, and political issues in the community. He's also a producer and host of the popular TV show A Slice of the Community on Nashville Public Television and PBS. Jerome is a community organizer, explorer, and a pizza connoisseur who embraces discomfort and learning through purposeful exploration. In May of 2023, his debut book titled Deep Dish Conversations Voices of Social Change in Nashville was released by Vanderbilt University Press, emphasizing the significance of thinking globally and working locally. In this episode, we talk about so many things about how travel and his experience in the Peace Corps really shaped the work that he does locally. We talk about the influence of some very influential people in his life, including his dad, the relationship between his mother and his father, and how a divorce at an early age for him really shaped the way that he started to act and behave throughout his life. And we get some exclusive stories from a well-known man here in Nashville, Tennessee. Some stories that I think will make you laugh because I was cracking up throughout this entire episode. But with no further ado, let's embrace vulnerability with Jerome Moore. I've been good, man. How you doing? How you doing, Jerome? Man, it's good to have you on the show.
Man, I'm doing good, man. Hey, man, I just wanted to go ahead and just give you your flowers now, man. Just congratulations and kudos to everything you've been able to accomplish, man. Just from the book to the public speaking to just, what I'm saying, uplifting people, man, and just taking your own personal experiences, man, and being able to uplift and amplify and, give people a chance to shine themselves, liberate other people, right? And so, man, you from black man to black man, I just appreciate what you do and how you do it. And man, I just champion you, man. I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here for you, man.
Bro, that's like you literally stole the words right out of my mouth because I was about to do the exact same thing. Look, I was about to hand you your flowers right there too,
Yeah, I
because
take them. I still
yeah,
take them home.
yeah, definitely, bro. And I truly appreciate and receive all of that because I watch you and you've been inspiring since the day that I met you outside the barbershop. Like I've been just keeping
Yeah,
track of everything you've been doing, and man, to see the work that you're doing around social change and like you're really on on the ground doing the work, and
yeah,
again lifting other people's voices up through your platform. So thank you, bro. It means a lot. Speaking of, social change, like that's your field right there. Tell me
yeah.
a little bit about what you got going today. What you have going on in your life?
Man, today, man, it just the book, came out in May. Deepest Conversations, Voices of Social Change in Nashville. And Reggie has the book. I gotta sign
Oh
it for you.
yeah.
I
Oh
gotta
yeah, I
sign
need
it
that
for you.
signature.
I
I
gotta
need
I
that
gotta sign it
signature.
for you.
Yes, sir.
Man, I'm mad because I got your book in the other room. I can't just do it right here.
Yeah.
So dang, you got me.
It's
You
all
one up.
good. Look, it's right there. We
Yeah,
stay with it. We stay posted.
exactly. But man, I got the book, pushing the book, man, right now, man. Getting ready to really start digging back into like more recorded podcasts, and like I got like such a backlog, man. But I really like changing some things up with the podcast, man. And really, I'm in a great but weird space of like this business model, like kind of like shift for me. I'm kind of like in this weird influencer business kind of like hybrid type of like zone, man. So really trying to figure that out for myself and kind of like, like what that means when you talk about amplifying social change, right? Oh man, but other than that, man, being a dad, man, and
Yeah.
just being a
That's a
dad, man.
full-time gig right there.
Oh man, every day, man, every day. But yeah, man, just really just continue to explore, learn, and grow, man. It's like kind of the biggest things for me. Besides just like just business and like work and stuff like that, professional stuff, man. Making sure I stay connected and grounded to
Yep.
people like you. Just building, man, and just stay grounded.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I got going on, man, and just enjoy life, man. Trying to
Yes.
really enjoy the journey.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure you get this feeling like, when you're an entrepreneur, man, you really want to get to the finish line or whatever that may be for you.
Yep.
like
Yep.
today, but like really trying to really like intentionally enjoy the people that I meet along the way. In the ups and downs that come with that,
Mm.
really reflecting on all those things, man, and just taking it one day at a time, man.
Absolutely. Like enjoying the little things and celebrating the achievements that you have along the way goes a huge way. Like to keep you motivated and keep you going. So I'm glad that you recognize the value of that. Um Tell me where the name Deep Dish Conversations comes from and
Yeah.
what inspired those conversations.
Yeah, man. So like pizza my favorite food of all time, right? It's not even close. It's not even disputable for me. And so I came back. I was here. I think I was here visiting, like when I was living abroad. I was here visiting, and I went to Geno's East Pizza, right? And I was like, man, this is a cool little spot, whatever, right? This no longer exists. And then I went back abroad. I can't remember where I was at. I think I could have been like in between Costa Rica and China. I can't remember. But I came back from China in 2019, like right at the end of like October going to November 2019, and like there, I knew I wanted to what I was doing abroad. I wanted to bring here in Nashville, as far as having these conversations, exploring my own community here in Nashville, which I really didn't explore growing up. I grew in my own little black bubble, right? And so I was like, man, what would be a good spot? You know what I'm saying? And try to have the pizza component too. And then I thought about Geno's East or whatever. And I was thinking about like pizza and conversation, something like that, or whatever, right? And then Chicago is known for like they deep dish pizza and stuff like that. And I was like, man, deep dish sound conversations just sound a lot better, a lot smoother. And man, end up like that's how the name came, man. They end up doing a podcast out of Geno's East for the first year and a half, almost 2 years, man, until they closed down due to pandemic.
Wow, that's amazing. And you said the work that you were doing abroad. What
Yeah.
took you abroad and then what was that work that you were doing?
So I initially went abroad because of Peace Corps. And so this was 2015. Went abroad to Paraguay. Never been abroad before. Didn't even know what the Peace Corps was until I was Googling and finding like how can I like travel and immerse myself abroad for free. Right. Those are my keywords. Abroad and free.
That's real.
My 2 words, like those. How can I get those 2 things, man? And the Peace Corps like jumped out. I was like, oh snap! This is like through the United States government agency. Okay, cool. Like it's a true immersion experience. You get the language, training and stuff like that. And once I did that, Reggie, man, it was a wrap. Like I stuck my feet in them overseas waters, and I was like, dang, it was no coming back for me, man. It was like the most. If it wasn't for that experience, I don't think I'd be doing what I'm doing the way that I'm doing it today.
Yeah, man. Experiencing just overseas and different cultures is something I think everybody in the world should do because
Man.
you can learn so much from you can only learn so much from the people around you in your neighborhood. But like
Yeah,
I've been in Nashville my entire life, like my
yeah,
entire life, and I have I have a I guess a broad array of different types of folks and peoples and background from just the way that I grew up, but even still, like you go to Asia, you go to Europe, you go to these different places, and it's like, oh man, life is just different.
It's
Like,
different.
what was kind of one of the
This
biggest
is
eye
very
opening culture shock things that you experienced when you first went abroad?
culture shock. Man, I'm gonna be my blackness was the biggest culture because man, like if you know, kind of growing up how we grew up, man, you see like it's levels of poverty, it's levels of struggle in every place, whatever. We can talk about that a little bit too if you want to, but like my how my blackness was received was like I didn't expect. There's nothing I didn't never hear anybody talk about like being received as a black American specifically outside the United States and kind of what that meant or even privileges that came with that, right? As a black American, right? And maybe even getting I wouldn't even say maybe in my experience, get having more privileges with my Americanness abroad than I do here in our own home country, right? And so that was like the biggest culture shock, man. It's like they like people really like infatuated and just like over the hill, just like, oh, you're a black American,
Wow.
like y'all exist. Hold on, y'all right? Hold on, wait a minute. And then you try to contextualize it for them in all these other places. Like, let's take China for example, a huge NBA market, right? Like, well, y'all know like Michael Jordan, Stephen Curry, I like all you, all y'all favorite players and stuff. You know, they like we all black Americans, right? And so like trying to contextualize it, but like it's just crazy, man. And it's like even in a place like when I was living in Costa Rica, and all of these places that I lived in have some type of Afro component or history to it, indigenous to it, right? And so Costa Rica is one of those places where it has a whole Afro Caribbean side to it, right? And so you will see people, you know, that look like me and you walking around just speaking Spanish, right? That's from there, right? So even for them to like the American part, like, hold on, you're black, but you're American, that kind of just that's different. You know, they looking at your hair and all of these things is like we just a different type of species or something. And so that was like the biggest culture shock that I really realized, like, oh wow. And like and meeting other black people from different countries and talking about how different or even learning how different our black experiences are, it was also a big culture shock for me because being here in America, I'm thinking like, oh, all black people are, you know, fighting policing and, you know, white supremacy and like white people are the enemy and all of those things. So they like and that's not the case, you know, but we so enthralled in that here mentally in our everyday lives. Like I think I can see how it's easy for us to like think anybody that looks like us as having that same fight because that's what I kind of experience centers around since we were captured and, you know, imported here, right? So yeah, that was a big culture shock to me too when you got brothers and sisters from the Caribbean or from Uganda, from the continent of Africa saying, dang, that still go on? Like y'all still fight? Like I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Hold on, y'all not y'all this ain't
Y'all
no
ain't
movie.
experiencing this,
Right,
yeah.
exactly. I mean, and so like that was like that man, but that's that man. That just that allowed me, it's like it unblocked whatever was restricting my brain from like thinking a particular way, man. It's like those shackles that was on my mind mentally just broke, man. And ever since then it's like yeah, man, I just my mind just be in all type of places where I just think about different perspectives of how other people are just taking things based on where they're from or their culture or their own experiences.
Right. Yeah. It shapes so much of how we think and being able to have a conversation with people from those different countries, I'm sure it just like opened your mind up so much. What like the inspiration behind bringing it back and starting these conversations around social change? Like you kicked off the podcast. What were some of the topics that you were most interested in talking about, and how has that evolved over time?
Yeah, I think I was most interested in talking initially about like the work or or the work that I've done with people like here in Nashville, right? So that was like I have a huge like nonprofit and NGO background, community economic development background of actually like being able to work on these topics. So my first thing was like, well, how can I leverage these connections that I've already made from actually doing the work in relations to some of these people, all right, and like bringing them on and let's just talk about like what does it look like to to try to serve our unhoused community, or what does it look like to community organize, or what does it look like or what the hell is going on in our city in general, right?
Right. Yeah.
like,
Let's start there.
like from a historical basis or even from a black or white lens, whatever that means, from a Latinx lens. And so that's kind of where I started, and I just kind of evolved. And what I really started to dive into personally is like, what don't I know about? Like, what do I kind of lack kind of knowledge or understanding or just curious and learn more about? And let me kind of start reach out to these people that that are out there that I may not know personally, but they got a good scope of like what's going on and kind of in like thinking like solution based, right? Like what are how are people trying to solve these social constructs that we trying to navigate through in our everyday lives?
Yes, I think that's the powerful part of it. Like your mind is powerful and can do a lot of things, but then when you see other people who are dedicating their entire lives to a certain issue, a certain topic, or whatever, now
Yeah,
you got that brain power put together on a
yeah,
platform, and it just
yeah,
adds some fuel to it. Um, one of the things that, like, I don't know if many people like hear me as vocally about this, but like one of the things I kind of put on this like vision board of mine is like, by the time I'm gone, the 13th Amendment, that exception clause in the 13th Amendment
yeah,
from a national level is just completely erased, and we start to see,
right.
fair treatment as it comes to criminal justice.
Mhm.
So that would be a huge social change component that I would want to see happen. What is something that is just a burning desire of Jerome Moore's?
Yeah, man, I want to see everybody get free passports.
Get out
Yeah,
of the
I
country and move
yeah,
around.
I wanna be like I want like the whole idea for me is like exploring, like, right? The problem is like the barriers that come with that. Right, just not let alone abroad, like within your our own country, right? Of moving around and like the financial toll or the documentation, right? And so I think for me, I think if everybody could get free, like like a birth certificate. If you born here, you should be issued a passport for free or whatever. However, it's bundled with the birth certificate. However, they want to hide the fees. I should just get one, right? I
Yeah.
should just get one. I should just get one, and I really think like there should be more opportunities for free for youth, what is middle or high school age youth to be able to travel and explore. And just think about, how I don't even know if they do this anymore, Reggie. But remember, like in our younger days, we would take like field trips. It would be
Mhm.
like a thing. I don't know if kids take field trips like we used to take
Yeah.
field trips in grade school and stuff, but that was part of that exploring and getting outside of your community. And
Right.
I wish like that'd be just be a burning desire for me, man. It's like whatever I can do to help people kind of get beyond their, their silo or their, existing community to
Mhm.
really kind of get outside and see how other people are living, thinking, eating, speaking, or whatever that may be, man. And so like that's just like if I can encourage people to do that, to really
Yeah.
explore. And that's why, man, I care about a lot of issues like many other people, right? But the one thing that I see that I think is stopping people is people or restricting people, I think, is that people are so confined to the same group of people, the same
Yep.
community where they are, and they don't explore. And so when you don't explore, of course, you're gonna probably just think this way or that way, kind of like what you was alluding to earlier. But man, like it's so many restrictions on them but just doing that, man. And so if I could just help people just be like at least be encouraged to like go a little further down the street or go a little
Mhm.
further to another county and do that
Yes.
with some type of intentionality, man, that's my ultimate goal, man, because the
I
world is
love
so
it.
big.
Yes,
It's
it
7
is.
continents.
It
Like
is.
it's like and to just live on one your whole life is wild, right?
Yep.
You know, you know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Just
For
like
real.
it's wild. And so man, it's just yeah, man. I just going to Peace Corps and be able to live in all these countries, man. I just can't be boxed in. I just refuse, man.
Right. Yeah.
It's like yeah, man, and being able to take what I do and make a global impact is the ultimate goal, man.
Boom. I like that. I like that. Like, I mean, this is a globalized world. Like,
Yeah,
business is done on a global scale,
right.
especially, anything you want to do on the internet, but also just a quick flight over the waters and you're somewhere and you're doing something with a group of people. So I think
Yeah,
that's huge. Like, even so, like I tell people still to this day, and I've been, to Thailand, I've been to Greece, I've been to, a
mm,
whole bunch of different countries around the world. But the biggest culture shock for me was going 5-10 miles from out east to MBA, Montgomery Bell Academy in Belle Meade. That was the biggest culture shock for me. At what 12, 13 years old, stepping into this world of all of these white people. And I
Yeah,
think what you're talking about of just like being able to explore and get out and see differences and learn to embrace those differences is huge for all demographics, all
man,
people.
I got a funny NBA story,
Let me
man.
hear it. Let me hear it.
Joe, check this out. So you know some of the homies, you know, like Will Davis
Yes, big
and
bro.
Nate and
Yep.
Elton Vincent, right? So
That's my
so
bros. All of
so
them.
like so because I think we might be a little older than you, right?
They were a class ahead of me.
So
So
we
yeah.
just yeah, just a year older than you, right? And so so you gotta think about it. So like me and Will, we play like pee wee baseball together. Like his dad and my dad were like super cool, right? So he was like my cousin. Like I was just calling like my cousin, right? And so Elwood, he lived out north. I lived out north, and we all went to Temple together, and Nate out north as well. But we all went to middle school. We always on the head together, right? All right. And so I'll never forget. And I used to dog them in basketball too. I used to dog walk them. So, like they know. Like I think football was more they thing anyway. But
Yeah.
oh man, I used to kill them. Right?
William might have something to say about that. EJ
Hey,
can't hit a barn.
hey, Will dog walk them. He know we play on the same team. He know I was starting since like anyway. He know right. Dog walking. And Will had it good growing up because his birthday is late, and
Mhm.
so he get
Yeah.
to play an extra year with a younger group technically because
Yep.
his birthday was so late, right? And so anyway, so he used to that's kind of like cheating a little bit. But I'll never forget this, Reggie. I remember one year I look around, man. We all in the same grade together, right? Going ahead or whatever, right? And I'll never forget, it was just like the next year, I think it was like our seventh grade year, seventh or eighth grade year. And you turn around, man, and all of them are gone.
Yep. Yep.
I'm like,
Yep.
damn, I'm like, what? Where y'all hold on, y'all like where y'all go, man? We at NBA. What? How did y'all pull that off? What's going like? And I always tell her that, like, y'all just left me behind. Like,
Man,
how y'all finagle
you
that?
didn't
How
get the memo, huh?
right, what? Like NBA, right? This is the first time I ever heard about NBA was with them. And then I don't know if you know Ruben Green. But yeah, yeah, and so I think he might have been there, yeah. Maybe, yeah. Yeah, I think, but he was a great head to me. But those were the only folks I ever knew that went to NBA. And as I got older, I found out like I got a really close cousin of mine, Michael Goodwin, who's a like renowned NBA student and basketball player. You know, there at NBA. So outside them folks, man, them were the only people I ever knew. But I just remember vividly in middle school, they were just gone. I'm like, y'all in NBA.
Just
What?
disappear.
Just
Yeah. Yeah.
disappeared, man. So I always tease them about that, man.
Man, look, I attribute my ability to continue at NBA to that group of guys
Mhm,
right there because in my when I first got to NBA, I was the only black student in my class.
mhm.
And so coming from like I was at Dalewood. I was Dalewood, then like spent a year at Croft and came to NBA, and it was just like what is this? And when
Yeah,
when you're in middle school, you separated from the high school, and so you don't necessarily get to interact. And so that first year, it was hard. It was
yeah,
hard
I
for me.
bet.
But
Yeah,
then getting into high school and being around them all day long, like literally, like all the people you just named, plus Preston Bailey,
yeah, that's
Jace Rader, like it was a bunch of dudes on there that just became big bros to me and helped me
yeah.
in that transition. And so like shout out to them. So they left you, but they found me. And
Hey,
so hey,
hey,
I'm so
man. Hey, life with like, and I always thought about that. Like, man, I wonder, like, because I end up going to Pearl and everything, and I always, it's just different levels, right? It's end up just different. And you probably would have went to Stratford or Maplewood.
So we moved. So I ended up being zoned for Overton, but I
Okay.
probably like I was gonna go to Hillsborough.
Hillsborough. Okay. So man, just like and as you get older and you realize like resources and how much that matters and how that can control or like dictate, not even control, dictate your trajectory of like what's available, not even that of like what you believe is possible for you.
Right. Right.
Right. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, it's like, man, like it just man makes a world of a difference, man. And so like I'm curious. Would you send your child to NBA today?
Today it's a big no. It would be a
Okay,
big no for me.
okay.
But that's also with a asterisk beside it because there's been some leadership change, and I don't know if the school is going to be like, if in 12 years or whatever, when it becomes time for a child to get to that age, like if things would be different. But just like from the interactions that I've had with the school since graduating, and um, not seeing the progress that I would want to see to
Okay.
help black students like me come through
Right.
there. And so as of right now, it'd be a no. I
Mm.
still got a lot of respect and pride for it because it did a lot of things for me, and it opened up so many doors for me. But the resources and the, I guess, social capital, the network, and all the things that I didn't have and it provided, I now
Yeah.
have that and could help, assist with a child or anything like that. So that's kind
Yeah.
of how I look at it right now, and I think a lot of the homies would say the same thing. Because I mean, I show up sometimes. I show my face on campus, but it's some dudes who ain't been up there since since they graduated, and
Yeah.
so
I was in
but
a cohort with Brenton. I forgot
yeah,
Brenton's last name, but he was like,
Harrison,
yeah, Harrison. Yeah, he was like, yeah, man, I ain't. I think he mentioned you was like, yeah, I think Reggie's like the only person that's really going back and really like trying. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like, but other than that, he's like, yeah, man, I forgot.
Yeah, I think there've been some things that just like when we have poured back into it or wanted to pour it back, it just wasn't as received the way that we had hoped, and so I
Mm,
think that kind of pushed a lot of folks back. But you talk about like traveling and those resources. We had the opportunity to go abroad in high school and all those different things, and I was still stuck in like I was at NBA, but I was still stuck in this like hood mentality. Like I
yeah,
don't do what they do, and I don't
yeah,
belong over there with them and all of that. And
yeah.
so when it came time to apply for the Ireland trip or to go to South Africa or all these different places, I just didn't feel like I belong. That's one thing that I really regret about that experience because I could have got
Hmm.
that vision of abroad and just a different view of cultures early on. I don't think I took my first trip overseas until so I was about like 23, 24. So like, yeah, like it could have happened 10 years earlier. What's up, Vulnerability Muscle fam? We've got an amazing sponsor to talk about today. And it's a product that has truly made a difference in my life. Call Me Go. Now, I only bring products that I believe in, and this is one that has been a game changer for me. Whenever I feel stressed, whenever I feel like things are just piling up and the anxiety is really cranking up, I turn to my Calm Me Go device. This is it right here. This thing is literally a game changer, and I was skeptical about it at first, but what makes this thing stand out? It combines three scientifically proven methods to reducing anxiety. First, there's a grounding technique, multisensory stimulation that really helps you stay present. So you have the feel of it, there's a vibration factor, there's lights, there's also smell. Then there's the ascendant element, tapping into the power of aromatherapy. But here's the kicker, and what really sets Calm and Go apart is personalized breathing regulation. It's like having your own breathing coach in your pocket, in your hand. And so I use this when I'm gearing up for podcasts, when I'm starting my day, when I'm calming down and chilling out at the end of my day. It has been an absolute game changer. I love Calm Me Go because it's not a one size fit all solution. It's tailored to me, my body, my unique stress triggers. The impact it has on my daily life is undeniable. Now, I want you to experience the calm that Calm Me Go can bring to your life. Head over to callmego.com and use the code Reggie444 at checkout for a fantastic $30 off. Trust me, this is an investment in your well being that you won't regret. Visit callmego.com, use the code Reggie444 at checkout, and let Callmego help you find calm in the storm.
Man, I had that same. You know what's crazy about that? That's how I felt in college and undergraduate at MTSU.
Mm,
Like I felt like okay, I'ma do me. Like y'all, we ain't the same. And but then again, I didn't have nobody
yeah,
to teach me or to tell me, okay, college is use these resources. This is what's
right,
available. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have nobody to guide me and tell me like this is what you use college for. It's like
right,
in my mind, like I knew okay, like study abroad programs or opportunities and stuff like that. But I think too, just my own my own environmental mindset. Like you know what I'm saying. One, I can't afford it probably, or two,
right.
I'm
Yep,
just a different caliber of person, and that ain't for me type of
yep.
thing. And when I look back at it, I like, dang, you know,
Mm-hmm.
But when you don't know, you just don't know. You know what
You
I'm
just
saying?
don't know.
And it was crazy. I want at that moment in college, like I wanted to explore. Like I was like, I took Spanish for a reason. Like, it was like,
Mm.
I'm more of I need to be there type of thing, right? Like this class, this ain't what I want to do, right? Like this in the classroom learning the vocabulary. Like I need to go to the country. And
Yeah.
so I had it in my mindset, like, when I got to college, like, man, I need to figure out how to get to other places, man. But it's just
Right.
this lack of knowledge, didn't have nobody in proximity and community or family to like that have ever done it, that I knew how to
Mhm.
do it outside of like military. So
Right, right, right. What some of the influential people growing up, what was, maybe parents, other people in the neighborhood, who were some of those people and how they shaped you growing
yeah,
up?
man, I think just like, man, my dad, man, my daddy for sure is probably the most influential person in my life to this day.
Wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
amazing.
Like it's not even close. And shout out to my mama.
Yeah.
But like it's like from being a man, and you know what I'm saying, it's just
Yeah.
it's not even close, man. It was crazy because I didn't have like I don't remember having like idols and stuff that I looked up to like I had like I thought I was going to the NBA Reggie. So like I
Mhm.
like Iverson was my favorite player and stuff like that. But like I didn't really inspire to like want to be like anybody or like had nobody's post on the wall and stuff.
Right.
Actually my daddy really instilled like, man, like you really shouldn't wear another man's name on your back.
Name.
Like,
Mhm.
yeah, like you should, if you just like if I have to, I get you a custom jersey with your name. Like that's my daddy instilled that in me, man. So like ever since then, man, like or just that point, just remembering like my daddy has always been him for me.
Yeah, that's what's
Like there's
up.
really a lot of pressure too on us on the end because like if I'm not gonna be good at nothing, I gotta be a good father based on
Right.
based on what my daddy did and has
Yeah.
done, right? And so it's like if I ain't good at nothing else, it's one thing I better to see that because he just did so much, and just instilled so much, man, in me. Like he like the way my character and who I am, how I treat people, and just those small things, man, they all come from him, man. Just
That's
how I see him
beautiful.
treat people, even when he didn't get, you know what I'm saying, treated in return the same way in return, or just didn't get nothing for it. It's like, man, he really instilled in me this down to earth, man. Just like treat everybody the same,
Yes.
regardless, and be yourself and just treat everybody right. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? They just treat people right, and it is what it is. And so, yeah, man, he's that person for me for sure.
Shout out to Pops. That's what's up
Yeah,
right there. That's
sure,
what's up.
sure.
So, in the spirit of embracing vulnerability, what would you say your dad? Because coming from a different generation, vulnerability and emotion and all of that stuff is
Yeah,
different. Would he allow you to embrace vulnerability? Did he embrace vulnerability? Do y'all have any
yeah,
conversations around that?
yeah, man. I think I don't even think I ever really talked about this. Like, so you get some. I don't think like people who don't really,
Exclusive.
yeah, because people who really don't know me. Like, it's nothing that I would really share, and it's I don't think nothing somebody would just really ask. But man, this is I'm gonna share with you. I just think this is a great platform to share with. We talking about vulnerability. So, with my dad, I seen my daddy cry one time
Mm-hmm.
in my life, and that was when my grandmother passed away,
Mm-hmm.
his mom, right? That was the first time that was shocking to me.
Yeah.
I'm like bawling, like face in the pillow, like damn, like I've never like since before then and after then I haven't seen my daddy cry.
Okay.
Not one time.
How
So
long ago was that?
my grandmama passed in 2005,
Oh
2006.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
because I remember I was a freshman in high school. Yeah, so
Okay.
2004, 2005, like that, like that time.
Okay.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, yeah. So up until I was 14, 15, I don't remember recalling seeing my daddy cry ever.
Mhm.
And after that, I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
remember seeing my daddy cry
Wow, that's
yeah.
amazing,
And
yeah.
so when you talking about like I guess it's vulnerability from an expression type point, like that's the only time I really like, you know, seen them be vulnerable in that type of way, right? But I
Mhm.
think I know for sure as I got older, our conversations of vulnerabilities really became like more on the table. And this is how I came on the table. And this is why my daddy is like my daddy and why he's like he ranks like top one for me.
Yeah.
I look at so damn, this is a real exclusive. I'm gonna break this down. So So my parents got divorced when I was like 7 or 8 years old, right? So
Okay.
I really don't even remember like a lot of times like as like my mom, my dad being together, right?
Mhm.
Like, because they've been to separate way longer than they actually been married together, right?
Mhm.
My mama had me when she was 20, and my dad was
Okay.
like 28, 27, 28, something like that, right? And so as I got older, right, I wanted to like spend more time with my dad. It just always been a daddy's boy, right?
Mhm.
Always been daddy's boy. And so for some reason, man, my mama just did not want me to like have a relationship, be with my daddy, and this is me and my little brother, right? Or whatever,
Yeah.
right? And so like I was like, dang, like why, you know what I'm saying? Like, why don't my mama want me to be with my daddy? Like usually as you get older, she's like, damn, usually black women are can't wait, want a black father, a
Yeah.
black man to be in their kids, like right. So my daddy was trying to be that man. And as I got older, man, and started to realize like, damn, my mama was like really like I don't know if she was hurt, scorned. You know what I'm saying? Me and my mom was just recently like talking about this like for the first time really on the table like a couple months ago. Like I'm
Mhm.
trying like, damn, like why was you like trying to prevent my daddy from being in my life? And like I know you was mad at him, but at the same time you was kind of like it was backfiring because it was crippling our relationship because I'm mad at you because you're not allowing me to see my daddy. And it ain't like my daddy was like a drug addict or no violent criminal or had us in an environment where kids shouldn't belong that was putting our lives at danger. Now that would be totally understandable. You try to protect our safety, but it's like
Right.
that wasn't the case. So it just seemed like you okay, you mad at him for whatever reason, whatever y'all broke up, y'all divorced, whatever reason, but they ain't got nothing to do with us. And the way that you're trying to get back at him is by preventing him from being in our lives, which actually is hurting us. And now me and you are like in a have a like a fractured relationship
Yep.
or whatever because like now I'm hurt, I'm mad because I'm trying to see me be with my daddy. So that just caused like a whole lot of issues like in my teens or whatever, out of like
Mhm.
behavior stuff, me going to juvenile, a whole lot of stuff, a
Yeah.
whole lot of stuff, right? Because I'm like just all for the like the sake of like I'm just trying to like see my daddy. I just want to
Right.
be with my daddy, right? And so, man, like when we talk about vulnerability, start having those conversations with my daddy, trying to figure out like, okay, what was going on, or like what was happening, what was you going through as a black man trying to beat this system that was going to put you on child support. My dad was on child support on visitation, so
Mm.
you only can see me every weekend and every other Wednesday, right? And
Wow.
then like how do you parent in that particular way? You know what I'm saying? So that's
Right.
when the vulnerability started really being on the surface between me and my daddy. And my daddy to this day, but I guess for my own protection, it's like, man, I'll never tell you everything that happened because you some
Right.
stuff kids just don't need to know. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And like I'm still his kid, I'm still his child or
Yeah.
whatever, right? And so he like and which makes sense. But it's like that type of vulnerability, man, just opening up and really like understanding, like as a being a black man, understanding the fight that my daddy had to go through just to be in our lives.
Mhm.
So understand because he could have been like, all right, forget it. We know many men,
True.
many, like, all right, man, you gonna put me on child support and you're not gonna let me see my kids, and I'm
Right.
trying.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? You call the police on me and all of these things, and then like you got other people that are in cahoots with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And still look my daddy in the face today to act like everything cool. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
you got like all this is going on, and so the he could have snapped at any moment. You know what I'm saying? We see these things happening. So for him
True.
to keep his composure, you know what I'm saying, not give up on still want to be in me and my brother's life, and like just fighting through it, man. It's like
That's
I,
amazing, man.
like yeah, and it's like I still I could never truly fathom it, but just understanding like the fight that we have to go through as black men to be in our kids' lives sometimes,
Yeah.
and then in the systemic pushback or barriers to do that as well, man. It's like going up a hill on roller skates,
Mhm.
right? It's
Mhm.
like, and so for him to go through all that and conquer, and my dad did say he ain't no perfect man. It ain't like he didn't make mistakes
Right.
yourself, but like understanding that, man, and getting to that vulnerability part, man, is just like, man, it's deep. It gets real deep, man. And so that's been more like over the last few years, like that vulnerability and being able to talk about that and just come out and just ask them about those particular things. And
Yeah.
just when it comes to be like being a black man, a black father specifically.
Wow, man, that's
Yeah,
so beautiful. And you touched on a couple of things that I wanted to touch on. One was
yeah, we
like
can unpack it, man. We can
when
unpack
when you said the only time I guess you seen your father cry was when his mom passed away, your grandma, and 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 I had, recent 2019, my grandmother passed away, my dad's mom. And
Mm,
it was a lot around that, just seeing his how he expressed, how I expressed, and all the different emotions that came up around that. And that was actually for me the first time that I ever stepped foot into a therapist. Was like I
mm,
felt that it was okay to go in there about grief because grandma passed away. It wasn't okay for me to go in there and talk about childhood trauma and all this other stuff. So, like, for whatever reason, losing mama, grandmama, like that felt like okay to be upset about. So, I think
mhm,
I don't know, just seeing that parallel in him showing his vulnerability and kind of the journey that I've had was kind of enlightening. So, but have those conversations with your mom and your dad helped you um view them, or change the perspective that you had on the struggles that they've had as the mom
yeah,
and dad, just giving
yeah.
them a little bit more grace by understanding a little bit more of it?
Yeah, I think for my mom especially, like, and like I said, like I think I touched on this for the first time ever, like a couple of months for my mama with my
Yeah.
mama. Like never openly talked about it because what I did is I gave her grace rationalizing it for myself. Like, man, my mama was 20 something, you know, emotions,
Hmm.
who knows, you know what I'm saying? Don't make it right, you know what I'm saying? But it's trying to like trying to really kind of heal myself
Yeah.
and like heal that fractured relationship and that kind of like that unspoken like awkwardness or maybe tension or whatever. That I don't even, maybe it didn't exist to her, but I know for me, it was like,
Yep.
man, it's like, it was just weird. It was just off.
Hmm.
So yeah, man, it definitely like it made me like kind of just try to understand things better. But also like having those conversations, I know it definitely like played a part of like how I view like relationships, right? Or how I
Yeah.
view maybe women's roles and you know, when they say, well, they have a like the daddy won't be in their life, I question that just off the
Hmm.
like whatever. What does that mean? Like, are you not allowing him to be? And that's just coming from my own personal experience. And it could
Yep.
be true, but I'm definitely going to be like, well, dig a little deeper just from
True.
my own personal experiences when it comes to those things. And then from my dad's side, man, just like I just think I gave him all grace, man. My daddy would tell me, he'd like, yeah, man, we was all kind of wild and crazy back then. And then again, like different times too.
Yeah.
And things that it just was you just won't be acceptable, I guess, in today's time, man. And so, yeah, man, and it just like and I've never been to therapy, right? And I
Hmm.
think uh what I've done over time is just like, man, I think I think maybe because it may be just a subconscious with just what I see my daddy, just like not seeing him cry and just kind of seeing him take everything on the chin and just like power through everything and like, what I'm saying, just be mentally strong and all those things, man. And maybe that's what I've just subconsciously did, man, because like I know in some way, form, or fashion, like that has affected me.
Yeah.
But it's like it ain't been to the point in my mind, in my eyes. So I'm like, well, I need to talk to somebody like, a professional about this and trying to unravel this and make sense of that. Like, I don't think I've held it that close to my heart or my mind enough to where I needed to dig deep. That I feel I need to dig deep, but maybe I do. But it's like
Yeah.
I just like I'm like, man, it happened. This is life experiences. This is my journey like, and I've used it and turned it into a positive as far as like, how can this help me grow? How can this help me look at situations, and think about how I should parent or how I should make decisions or whatever it may be, and just
Hmm.
kind of moved on from it, man. And
Yes.
and I'm not triggered by talking about anything. Just like these are possible scenarios that could happen in a relationship
Right.
or how a child could be affected by it. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And like it's beautiful that you're able to have those conversations with your parents. Like I'm glad that you're able to. I have not been able to have some of those conversations with my parents, and I don't know if I ever get that opportunity.
Yeah,
So like just being able to, hear that that's possible gives me hope. So I
yeah,
salute y'all for that.
yeah,
Um there is when you mentioned, because there's there are a lot of educators and folks who follow me just from a lot of the speaking that I do. When you talked about the behavior issues that came up when you were in your teens.
Yeah.
What was, if you can talk about what was under, like, what was the behavior, and what were you trying to get out of the bat? If you
Yeah.
could put a name on it.
Yeah, man. I think man, I just didn't give a F. I don't know if you cuss on your
You can,
platform.
this is why we, yeah,
Okay,
real,
yeah,
be as real
I
as you
just
want.
like I really, yeah, I like at one point, man, this is crazy. It's like certain points you just vividly remember, right? And like I really just wasn't giving a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I really wasn't like take me to juvenile. I don't really give a fuck, whatever. It is what it is. There was mornings like because you gotta think about it. Like a lot of these instances, my mom was just calling the juvenile like police on me. They take me down 24, 48 hour hold, and she gotta be the one to come pick me up. So
Right.
then I would go to school the next morning, those same clothes, or you know what I'm saying? Like, and so like I just think I was like, man, I just like I'm just gonna do whatever I want to do. Like you ain't letting me see my daddy, whatever. Fuck it. If
Mm.
you gonna make it a hard time on me, I'm gonna make it a hard time on you.
So you were
And
very
then-
aware of
yeah,
that was
oh,
the reason you were doing
this
what you
this
were doing.
this is how aware I was. I'm gonna tell you, man. Like the God, the universe, or whatever Allah, whatever you call him, or it, or whatever that the spiritual feeling. I'm gonna let you know how aware I was. So I'm gonna So so my mama, man, she transferred me out of Pearl my senior year because they moved out. She got me ready, moved out to Antioch, and I had to go to Antioch High School my senior year. So when you get transferred or whatever, like you get all your books and everything, and you go to the new school or whatever like that, right? So I remember sitting in the office, man, and thinking to myself, like, I could just really like right now be like, fuck it, like I'm not going to the school, I'm not even
Mhm.
going to school.
Right.
Like it's just like just forget about it. Like I'm just gonna act so rude. I'm just gonna cut up so much that they're gonna put me out. Right. I remember I remember it was like I can damn near remember what I had on. I can damn near remember what I had on, Reggie, for real.
Oh
And
man,
I
you got me
remember in
weak.
my mind, like, man, is it worth it? Like, I just gotta do this. Like, it was like jail time. I just gotta do this 1 year and I'm out of here. Let me just do this 1 year here. But yeah, man. So it was like I remember the vivid moments like that where like I had a some type of understanding of like, man, this probably ain't the best decision. Like you just gotta make this 1 year. Is it really worth it? What do you like? So it's just weird, man, how like at that age at 17, I was able to like slow down at that moment and really consciously make decisions. But no, it's crazy, man. Like I'm even to this day, man. I've been able to slow things down. If I'm going to explode, it's gonna be I'm making a conscious decision to do
Mhm.
it. Like
Right.
I haven't really
Right.
made any, I haven't really been outraged or made public outrage in a long since probably middle school or something like that.
Mhm.
Since where I didn't consciously make a decision before, like let me think about this. Is this worth snapping on and understanding? Like I don't know where that ability comes from, but
Yeah.
I've had that ability to be able to, in those moments where like, okay, I could walk away or I could, you know what I'm saying, just go ahead and just match whatever level or go beyond.
It's
But
up
when
there.
I do it, it's ain't no coming back. Like that's why I don't do it much because I know myself. Like it ain't no once I go there, it ain't no reeling it back in. It ain't
Mhm.
no no. We're gonna go all out. This is gonna be my new dedicated thing. It's like I'm going all out on this one thing right now. And so man, it just like, yeah, man. So those behaviors, man, it's just man, it's just weird, man, because I think I just processed them differently. It wouldn't out of just pure like I want attention or nothing like that. It was just like,
Right.
man, I'm just upset. Like I'm
Mhm.
like shit, this shit is out of hand. It's not right. So fuck it. I remember
Yeah.
one time, man, of like not allowing nobody go to sleep. I
Wow.
I made that in the
Hold
course
up.
at
At home, like you wouldn't
home.
let nobody
Yeah, yeah,
sleep.
yeah. I said, nah, ain't nobody going to sleep.
What did you do to keep
It
everybody
sound
up?
wild. I'm yelling, I'm beating on doors. Like, of course, I got the police called on me, and I was like, maybe I should listen now. But like, I made that decision in my mind. I made a decision, like, okay, like, all right, nobody going to sleep tonight. Like it's crazy. I don't really like let's like again like I ain't never talked about nothing like this on a public platform. But man,
Yeah.
look, I'm telling you, man, like
No,
I
it's
made
real.
like I just like I was making these decisions. Like ain't nobody going to sleep, man. This is man, this is wild, man. And it
Yeah.
would be funny because the police would come to the house, man, and they would be like, yeah, they wouldn't even like sometimes they would handcuff me. They really wouldn't handcuff me sometimes or whatever. And then like I had one police officer one time was like, man, you think you can outrun me? I was like, man, what you know?
I'll burn you.
But he was like a young, he was like in his 20s, so he would have called me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Like at that age, at a teenager, you think somebody in their 20s really old. You know what I'm
Right,
saying? I
right,
mean, old man, like not really. They in their prime, athletically,
right. Yeah,
right? And so, man, yeah, it was crazy, man. Like like it was just
yeah.
wild times like that, man. But it's like, man, like yeah, man. It was like when I said I was gonna do something, like I meant it. If I
You
meant
did it.
like,
You
yeah,
did
'cause
it.
nobody
Yeah.
gonna go to sleep with nobody gonna like if I like, and that's why, man, like once you had that type of rage or that
Yeah.
concentration of rage, right, and you understand it, man, and then like you like you learn you control it, but you also learn like okay, like you know,
Mm-hmm.
like especially if people are not aware, like you kind of give people more grace. Like man, you clearly
Yeah.
don't understand
You don't know. Yeah.
who you dealing with at this particular moment in time. So
Yeah.
therefore, like and then it's like it ain't worth it. A lot of times. It ain't really even worth it. And then you
Nah.
end up tricking yourself out of position, a spot, whatever. But yeah, but I think a lot of that man, I contributed. That's why I'm so happy and positive today, man.
Yeah.
It's really like man, I ain't really phased by it too much, man.
Yeah, man. I'm glad that you here and through all of that, like you was able to channel
Oh
that into some good stuff. Like
you
you
talking
put
about
all that passion that could have been,
man,
keeping people up. It's in
man.
books and it's in podcasts, it's in social change
Great.
now.
Talking about some real street beef stuff, man. I don't know how I graduated college, man. It's like so much stuff, so much stuff, man. It just like it just, man. Again, like I'm blessed and highly favored and saved, man. But
Mm-hmm.
but again, you don't never want to be in that mentality full
Right.
time. Like
Right.
you, like that. Trust me, it ain't peaceful. You in beast mode, savage.
Yeah.
Like it ain't calm, and like you on go. Like man, like
That
it's just
hypervigilance is just like there at all times. And it's
man,
like at the drop of a hat, something
man,
can happen.
man,
Yeah.
because I knew at the drop of a hat I was gonna go.
Yep.
It wasn't no like this whole way like on site type of definition. It was
Mm-hmm.
I was a prime definition of that at
Mm-hmm.
any moment and anywhere,
Yeah.
and it was, hey man, it's
What would be some advice that you would give young Jerome in
mhm.
those situations, knowing what you know now?
Yeah, man. It's hard, man, because I feel like all of it was warranted.
It was justified, hey. It was justified.
And I
Y'all are
mean
not going to sleep. This is
look, and
justified.
I mean that in the most sincere way, man. Because like I don't, because I mean that in the most sincere way. I really believe it was for that age. From like, I don't think I could have handled it any better.
Hey, hey,
I
I
don't,
feel you. I
hey,
feel you.
I don't know if I could have handled it any better. Other like, only thing if I could tell my younger self, like man, just I guess it's just everything gonna work out. Everything
Yeah.
gonna work out. Like nobody's perfect, but it's like I think I was able to make some really good decisions, even though it was bad ones. The way how I made them was good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Just based on like on like people that I know that we know, like like Ruben. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
people that we know was lost to gun violence. You know what I'm saying? It could have been in the reason that was separated me from a lot of my peers was like I had a father. Yeah, and I
Yeah.
had a mother.
Yeah.
They had
Yeah.
some type of hand on me. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And I think it would have been a lot worse if my daddy wasn't there or if my daddy would have gave up.
Yep.
Oh, it would have been a lot worse.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it would have been, yeah, it would have been over. It would have been
Yeah.
done data. And I always feared it, like when I was younger, like man, if I ever lost my dad, you know how you hear
Mhm.
certain people lose certain
Yep.
people, you just like it just ain't
That
no
would be the
coming
one
back.
for you where it's like
I'm like,
over
yeah,
the
if I ever like, if I had lost my daddy due to whatever freakish accident or whatever to death,
right.
man, during that time,
You
yeah,
know, the two people sitting on my shoulder right now. So my grandma, my grandpa, they died within 6 months of each other, and those are the people that I would have that conversation with myself about. If something
yeah,
happened to them, like I don't give a fuck anymore.
yeah,
But and part of it was that like I've changed so much since their passing. Like
yeah.
January 9th, 2020 was when my grandfather died after my
Mm,
grandmother, and so like I like people who knew me back before that, and people who knew me growing up and all that, it's like I'm just a totally different person because I was having that conversation. It
Yeah,
happened, in older age, but it still happened. And
yeah,
so like the response that I've seen in myself, I just recognize it in myself has been different because
yeah,
I knew, something was gonna be different about me once that happened.
yeah.
Um let's get back to the social change a little bit. So you mentioned, juvenile, you mentioned, getting the police called on you,
Yeah.
and you got a lot of segments on talking about criminal justice and things like that. How did that background shape how you
Man,
look at the criminal justice system and all of that right now?
no, so this is another man. This is crazy. You getting all of them out of me, Reggie. So I remember going to juvenile court, and this was like I guess like a custody hearing, right? And I was totally dismissed by the judge. Like the
Mm,
judge didn't give a fuck what I was saying. And
wow.
from that day forward, man, I had a disdain for judges.
Yeah.
Like, cause I was like, she I could, if she was standing right next to me, I wouldn't even know who she was.
Mm,
But I just remember it was a white lady, and she wasn't trying to hear nothing I was trying to say about me wanting to live with my dad.
mm,
Period. You know what I'm
wow.
saying? And so I just had a disdain for for judges and courts since that day. Like I could like just had a hatred, like, man, nah, just fuck the judges, fuck the courts.
Yeah.
They ain't like just that was my initial interaction with them, and then that was my last. That was just I didn't want to deal with them no more. But yeah, man, so yeah, and you know what's crazy about my journey, man? It's not like I grew up like with parents like that were like social justice leaders or
Hmm.
like volunteered every weekend or anything like man like I didn't that's not the background of upbringing that I had, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? It just found
What
me.
did your folks do?
So my dad is a professional barber trainer instructor. He actually runs the barbering program out of the sheriff's department now.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So I get a lot of homies from back in the day is always trying to get in the program. Like, I know your son, Jerome. And
They
so
gonna
my
name drop.
right, you try to drop my name. But then my mom, she works for the Board of Education. She's the
Okay.
director over nutrition. So all the cafeterias, the
Wow.
metro, right? My mama, you gotta think about it. Like my mama, man, like had me at 20. She went back to school when I went back to school. So technically, I was like a first generation college student because my dad didn't go to
Mhm.
college. My dad went to the Navy and all that. And so it was like we was going to school. She got a PhD and stuff. So
Yeah.
my mom is
Wow.
grew and leveled
Shout out
up.
to moms,
Yeah,
yeah.
shout out to in many ways. And so yeah, man. So that's what they did. And so like my mom, like my dad, my dad used to work for Nissan in the 90s when they was like making bank.
Mhm.
So like my life could have been, I guess, totally different. You got to think about it. Like, so my mom didn't really have to work. My dad was working at nights in Nissan. We was living. So I think I was my the first house apartment was like in South Nashville, and then my dad moved us out to like Laverne. So my mom, my dad from North Nashville moved us out to Laverne or Smyrna, whatever which one, back in the 90s. You know what
Wow.
I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah, with the Nissan. So my dad was making
Yeah.
that type of money there. And you talking about going to like an all white school. I remember I was going, I think to Laverne Middle or something like that. My
Mhm.
daddy pulled me out of there because it was all white. I was the only black student. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My dad was like, nah, this ain't right. And then the divorce happened. You gotta
Mhm.
think about it. Like we was going to Orlando, we was like Disney World a couple times, you know what I'm saying? The divorce happened, like life
Yeah.
shifted for everybody. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And so now like back out north, being raised in that the whole different type of environment, and all that. So man, it's just like, man, it could have, you know what I'm saying? It could have been different. Like my sports kind of drifted down like activity because again, my daddy was like my coach and doing all that. My mama wouldn't, you know what I'm saying, doing all that stuff or wasn't really trying to, you know what I'm saying, have us in the same activity because she really wasn't trying to deal with my dad. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a lot of stuff affected like my life and trajectory of what could have been or what could have happened or where I could have been if they would have stayed together or if it would
Right.
just been a different situation, man. So all those things, man, I reflected on like a lot. You know what I'm saying? And the more I even talk about it, the more stuff that just come to my mind and just be like, man,
Mhm.
you never know. You know what I'm
You
saying?
never
These
know.
things it just make you think about, man, other people in their lives and they feel like, man, what did they go through or what
Right.
happened with their mama and they dad? You know what I'm saying? How did that?
Right.
Man, you just never know.
Yeah, you never know. You never know. And I mean, I've learned a lot about you in this conversation. I appreciate you for opening up and being so
Nah,
vulnerable about
you
that,
know
bro.
more than most now. You know more
Yeah.
than for real.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, and
that's
then
real.
people listen this, they'll know more about me. But yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. So I do this quick rapid response thing. So I'm gonna ask you a couple of questions. And the first thing to come to your mind, just drop it out. All right.
Mhm.
What comes to mind when you hear the word vulnerability?
Life.
Life. I like it.
Life.
I like it. If you could have a conversation with anybody, living or dead, who would it be?
Muhammad Ali.
Right there with you. Right there with you. That's my guy. I love
Mm.
that one. What is one of your favorite childhood memories?
Man, just going to Hartman Park, man, in the summertime.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Hold on. Yeah, I didn't got in a lot of fights at Harmon Park. What is
Me
a
too. Over basketball. Sports,
man? What is a book or movie that everyone should read or watch?
man. Book Deep Disc Conversations, Voices of Social Change
Yes,
by
sir.
Jerome Moore. That should be a book that everybody should read and explore for sure.
Absolutely. What is one thing you do to relax when you're feeling stressed?
Watch movies. That's my
Movies.
meditation. Yeah,
What's your
movies.
favorite movie?
Rush Hour 2.
Rush Hour 2. I gotta go check that one out then. I've
You
seen
ain't
them
seen
all,
Rush
but I
Hour
gotta
2?
no, I've seen them all. I just gotta
Oh,
like which one is
yeah,
Rush Hour 2 compared to the other
yeah.
one. So
Yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
Rush Hour 2 is like, yeah, it's up there. That's
Yeah,
one.
okay. And then last, what is number one podcast other than deep dish conversations that you've ever experienced?
Man, that's embracing vulnerability with Reggie Ford.
I appreciate that, my brother, man. This has been a fantastic conversation. I can't wait for everyone to hear this and then hear you on your platforms and all the things that you do. So, how can people reach you and where can they find you?
Yeah, just deep dish convos on all of the platforms or deepdishconversations.com. You can find all my information, all my contact. If you want to find me more directly personally, Jerome L. Moore on Instagram or Facebook. And just tap in, DM, shoot me email. I'm very responsive. And man, again, appreciate you, Reggie, for the opportunity, man. And keep doing what you're doing, fam.
Absolutely. Same to you, bro. With all the things that you could be doing and all the places that you could be, I appreciate you for being here with me and embracing vulnerability. Appreciate it,
Man,
bro.
man, I appreciate you, man. Keep going and keep embracing, man. You get these exclusives from me.
That's what it's about. I'm trying to get more exclusives. Let's
Hey, man.
go.
Hey, you gotta be vulnerable to come on here, man. You can't be holding back.
That's it. That's it, man. Appreciate you, though.
For sure.
Yes, sir. Thank you for joining us for another powerful episode of Vulnerability Muscle. I hope you found inspiration and valuable insights that resonate with you. If you're enjoying this journey of self discovery and empowerment, there are a few ways you can support the podcast. First, make sure to hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. If you've been moved by our conversations and the mission of redefining vulnerability, please consider leaving a review. Your feedback not only motivates us, but also helps others discover the podcast. Share your thoughts on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you tune in. And don't forget to spread the word. Follow us on Instagram at Vulnerability Muscle for updates, and you can connect with me personally at Reggie D Ford on all platforms. Visit vulnerabilitymuscle.com for additional resources and upcoming episodes. And remember, embracing vulnerability is strength. Thanks for being a part of the journey. Until next time, stay empowered, stay vulnerable, and keep flexing that vulnerability muscle.